Hello again. My name's Goff, and welcome to another Kings at Home Daily. I hope you're enjoying going through the Psalms. I'm loving this new series that we've just begun on the Book of Psalms, and as we do these studies, we don't just want to speak at you, as it were. I want to try and kind of lead you into the way that we do our devotions as leaders, to help you, encourage you to, not that we've got everything sorted, but just the things we've learned along the way, and using the Psalms in our devotions. I think what many people have found the usefulness, the real help that the Book of Psalms is in terms of our ongoing devotion with the Lord. It's so important to try and get those regular times together with the Lord. As I've said so many times, for me, up here first thing with a mug of tea and worship music, and not because I'm pious, but because I'm needy and I don't want to let days be lost through me being grumpy or feeling low. I want to find heaven's resources for the challenges of the moment. And just thinking of the Psalms, another quote. I think I gave you one yesterday, but here's another one. This is Spurgeon, C.H. Spurgeon. You've heard of Spurgeon, I'm sure. He said this about the Psalms: a complete armory for life's battles and a perfect supply for life's needs. For every condition there is a psalm, suitable and elevating. This book supplies the babe in grace with penitent cries, and the perfected saint with triumphant songs. Its breadth of experience stretches from the jaws of hell to the gates of heaven. So every circumstance of life. And we're going to read, coming in this psalm I'm going to read today, I've got Psalm 9. We're going to hear of oppression, troubles, and that leads me on to another quote by one of a favourite author of mine, Walter Brueggemann. He says this: the Psalms offer speech when life has gone beyond our frail efforts to control it. Thus, I suggest that most of the Psalms can only be appropriately prayed by people who are living at the edges, who are, in other words, people who are struggling, people who are going through conflict. Psalms are really valuable for them. So let's go to Psalm 9 and verse 1. I will give thanks to the Lord with all my heart. I will tell of your wonderful deeds. I will be glad and rejoice in your name. I will sing the praises of your name, O Most High. My enemies turn back. They stumble and they perish before you, because you've upheld my right and my cause. You sit enthroned as the righteous judge. You have rebuked the nations. You've destroyed the wicked. You've blotted out their names forever and ever. Endless ruin has overtaken my enemies. You've uprooted their cities. Even the memory of them has perished. The Lord reigns forever. He has established his throne for judgment. He rules the world in righteousness, and he judges the people with equity. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Those who know your name trust in you. For you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you. Sing praises to the Lord, enthroned in Zion. Proclaim among the nations what he has done. For he who avenges blood remembers. He doesn't ignore the cries of the afflicted. Look, see how my enemies persecute me. Have mercy and lift me up from the gates of death, that I may declare your praise in the gates of daughter Zion, and there rejoice in your salvation. The nations have fallen in the pit they've dug. Their feet have caught in the net they've hidden. The Lord is known by his acts of justice. The wicked are ensnared by the work of their hands. The wicked go down to the realm of the dead. All the nations that forget God, but God will never forget the needy. The hope of the afflicted will never perish. Arise, Lord. Do not let mortals triumph. Let the nations be judged in your presence. Strike them with terror, O Lord. Let the nations know they are only mortal. a real mixture there. And just to show how would I use this psalm, how would I read it? Well, I'd be there in verse 1. By the way, I always have a highlighter pen with me when I'm doing this sort of thing, because some people think the Bible is too special to mark. Actually, I think it's too special not to mark. I want to really highlight things, so I always have that. And if you look at the page here, there's lots of bits of yellow. So I would read this, verse 1, that I will give thanks to you, Lord, with all my heart. And so I would most often come and I would sort of recognise the intention here. He's not saying. Sometimes we can read it, I will give thanks to you, O Lord. I don't think that's what's going on here. The context here is battle. Lord, I'm going to worship you. I am going to praise you with all my heart. I'm not going to be half-hearted. I'm not just going to have a mediocre time with you today. I'm going to be wholehearted. I think Spurgeon said, half heart is no heart. So I will give thanks to you, Lord. I would speak that out loud when I'm reading that. With all my heart, I'm going to tell of your wonderful deeds. Lord, you have done this for me, and you've done that, and I've seen that answer to prayer. Lord, thank you. That's how I would use this, especially when I'm feeling like David. By the way, this is probably a psalm of David. This is how I would use it. I will be glad and rejoice in you. Lord, I might be feeling really rotten right now, but I'm going to be glad. I'm going to rejoice in you. I'm going to praise you. And then I probably would just sing a bit. I'd sing a song or just sing a melody. Lord, I love you. I would just use my voice. I will sing the praises of your name, O Most High. Now, then there's this whole thing about enemies and things. And you've got to bear in mind, David, of course, the old covenant, probably, he's battling for the land. He's battling for the promises. He's got people after him. Quite often he was on the run for his life, and so his enemies were very real. And David sort of takes comfort in the fact that God, you're going to sort this all out. Lord, thank you that you triumph over the challenges that I face, and so that's why we get this sort of battle language, and then we come back to praise. So how would I use those battle verses? Well, I would see them in terms of the spiritual challenges that I face today. My enemies turn back. Lord, I might have been feeling anxious about this. These things are going to turn back because I'm coming to you. All the things that come against me, they're going to turn back. Lord, I don't want these things are not going to dominate my life. They're not going to spoil my joy. They're not going to rob me. So that's how I would use this enemy talk. You've rebuked the nations. You've destroyed the wicked. Lord, thank you. You have triumphed. Lord Jesus, you rose from the dead. You've triumphed over sin. And Lord, I want to know your triumph in my life today. So I might not get further than that 3 or 4 verses in my devotions. Then we're back, after speaking of his enemies, he comes back to reminding himself, the Lord reigns forever. He's established his throne for judgment. One of these days, Lord, you're going to put all things to right. Verse 9, the Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. That is just so, goodness me, so you could spend your whole devotion in that verse. You're a refuge for the oppressed. Lord, I find refuge in you. I can hide in you. I've used the phrase over these recent weeks whilst we've been going through Philippians, being in Christ. That whole theme is here. You're a stronghold in the time of trouble. Lord, I'm going through a time of trouble right now. You're my stronghold. And then I let the imagery come into my mind with a stronghold. Think of a cave or somewhere you can, a strong place, somewhere where you can just shut the door and nothing can harm you. You're a stronghold. And then he says, sing the praises of the Lord enthroned in Zion. When he says Zion here, he'd be thinking of Jerusalem, the centre of Jerusalem, the temple. And he's thinking of those times being together with God's people, worshipping and praises. Sing praises to the Lord enthroned in Zion. Proclaim among the nations what he has done. And so he's thinking of, hey, let's I'm looking forward to being together with God's people, declaring the greatness of God, the praises of our God. And then verse 12, he does not ignore the cries of the afflicted. Again, that's a verse, well, it's highlighted here for me. And there's such good verses for us to be meditating on in our devotions. The Lord doesn't ignore the cries of the afflicted. If you're feeling under pressure, if you're feeling the weight of circumstances around you, he does not ignore the cries of the afflicted. Lord, thank you, that is true. You do not ignore my cries. Lord, I need you in this area, in that area. I need you, and then I'll be thinking of other people in church family and praying it for them. Lord, here, just pray for so-and-so and so-and-so. I know that they're going through hard times, maybe hospital or whatever. It's fuel for our devotions, and I don't want to encourage you, whatever your situation today, you may be like David. I'm going to sing. I will declare your praises. Lord, you're my refuge. I'm just going to stay close to you till the storm's passed. Hope that's been a little bit helpful. Have a good day, and make sure you have that time alone with the Lord to express your heart to him today. God bless you, and see you again soon.